just because we're doing real-time personalization, does that mean it's effective? Well, now we have the data to actually say yes, it is.
That's awesome.
So it's and in addition to that, we've got a number of sports teams and leagues that are using us as well, because at the end of the day, your fans are your customers, right? It's all about acquisition, engagement, and retention.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Ad Podcast. We've got Evan Kaeding in the house, who's the SVP of Global Engineering and Solutions at Supermetrics. We're here at Possible, day 3, wrapping things up, but still going strong. Evan, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me, Dylan. Much appreciated.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do, and for those that might not be familiar with Supermetrics, where do you guys sit in the ecosystem?
Yeah, happy to. So, yeah, name's Evan Kaeding, been with Supermetrics now for about 5 years, but was actually a customer for several years prior to joining.
Awesome.
So
that's always a good way to do things, right? Kind of get a taste of the Kool-Aid from the outside and join up afterwards.
That's exactly it.
Let's go.
Originally from the West Coast, from Portland, Oregon, really cut my teeth in the advertising scene at Wieden & Kennedy. Actually,
nice.
so helped them build out a lot of their back-end data infrastructure, and have made the move over to Helsinki, Finland, which is where Supermetrics is based.
That's awesome. So you're an expat over there now, huh?
Indeed, yeah.
What's life like living in Helsinki?
It's nice. Well, it's colder than here in Miami, as you can probably imagine, but
Sure.
yeah, very, very nice place to spend time. A lot of sauna, a lot of snow, good skiing as well.
Let's go.
Yeah, life's good.
That's awesome. So tell us what was exciting about what Supermetrics was building while you were on the agency side, where you're like, yeah, I could see myself moving to another country and jumping, all in.
Yeah, it's a great question. I get it asked all the time, really.
Bet.
I think the big thing was just the speed at which I could start from basically nothing, an idea, and just build very, very quickly, whether it's a dashboard, a report, whether it's, these days, an agent or a white labeled client product. I just was able to go from concept to innovation to deliverable very, very quickly. And we were turning around client projects for some of the largest brands on planet Earth with Wieden.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, this is a very transformative technology. I'm excited to help take this to the world.
That's awesome. So I imagine that's even been put on steroids, so to speak, with the AI revolution in recent times.
As you can imagine, it's AI everywhere all at once is the way I like to think about it. We're putting AI in our product, but the more exciting piece is what customers are using AI to do with our product.
Interesting.
Because we've had APIs for years and years. We expose those to all of our customers.
Somewhat of an open source model as far as co-collaboration and co-building.
Open source in the sense that our API is public, it's fully documented, and we've got customers just sticking it into Claude Code, into Cursor, and building amazing things right away.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been an exciting time to see the shift in the industry, and overall it's more of a tailwind than a headwind for us, which is exciting to see.
Very cool. So what are some of the practical applications that you're here at Possible showcasing to the brand and advertising community of what they can do with your platform?
Yeah, really 2 things. I'd say for the agencies that are interested in really cementing their place in the world in this AI revolution that we seem to be in, they want to build their own data products.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily want to start from scratch.
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of data pipelines,
You've got a good foundation that they can build off from. Yep.
Foundation is the word we use. Yeah, we help them build that data foundation from scratch so that they can focus on their core differentiation and their innovation at scale. The other piece, though, is we recognize that only 36% of brands in the mid-market and enterprise are actually investing in personalization, let alone AI-powered personalization.
Yeah.
So making sure they're using their first-party audience data in a way in which they can personalize those experiences, that's massive. So for us, data activation is a big push and is something that we want to help make a bit more accessible to the market more broadly. And that's something we're seeing from advertisers today is how can Supermetrics help personalize with the different kinds of messages, the different kinds of targeting, right message, right place, right time.
Nice.
Historically, that's been challenging to do. That's becoming a lot easier today.
And do you do that across more traditional CX like email, website, unique responsive websites? Do you do it across the full funnel or just on the advertising and media side?
It's a good question. Yeah, you can think of Supermetrics as having the identity backbone that can then capture, collect, and organize data and touch points from all of those different places. So certainly starting from a place of digital advertising, be it programmatic, paid social, wherever that happens to be, but then getting to on-site personalization, getting into integrating with your CDP,
full customer
your
journey, essentially.
Exactly. Email, app, touch points, all of those different pieces.
Very cool. So how has your Possible been? What's any highlights? We're coming to the tail end, so you probably have maybe an insight or two that you're going to be taking back to the teams and sharing.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's our first time at Possible here in Miami, so exciting to see it. I think we've been at Cannes for the last couple of years, and I think that's the question everyone's asking. Certainly from a European perspective, is Miami and Possible, is that going to be what's coming in place of Cannes? And I don't think it's an either or. I think
it seems
it's
like
both.
It's a jumping off point more than a replacement for the North American audience.
I think that's what it is.
And at the end of the day, this is a media event, really. When you think about it, it's about the media industry at large, where Cannes is creativity with media wrapped around it on the outside. Right?
Precisely.
So,
as we saw from, it was Terry's presentation this morning even, where he was talking about just how historically underappreciated and ignored creative has been just for the last 10 years with all the focus on media, data, and tech. Hopefully AI is going to free up a lot of our time and resources to really
people
focus
can
on
spend less time in the weeds, and then now they can think about actually the hard work of influencing brand perception, driving awareness, and some of, none of this stuff works without a great insight or a great piece of creative in order to, or a campaign really to power it.
That's exactly it.
Any panel that stood out that was kind of must-see TV for you? What should people go back to the archive and reference that maybe they didn't get a chance to sit in on that you were excited about?
Yeah, the breakfast yesterday with Alexis Ohanian on sports innovation marketing. Sports is certainly one. Sports and the sports industry in general, entertainment more broadly, is an industry we know well at Supermetrics. But he makes an extremely bullish case for not only the growth of women's sports, but also the growth of niche sports as well. And
cricket, launches, and all of a sudden it's got a bigger subscriber base than Netflix, in a day. I think it was something crazy like that.
The star powers of the athletes are unmatched. There's no question. And as someone who likes to watch cross country skiing, I couldn't be more excited for an emergence of niche sports as well.
That's awesome. How do you help advertisers with that component of the marketing funnel, which is, live sports is basically the foundation of what's driving any semblance of live tune-in these days. People, they can't not watch sports live because you basically get a spoiler alert if you open up Twitter or open up your text message or anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the one thing left that's appointment viewing, where people have to log in mass at the same time to watch their favorite game or watch their favorite sports. Of course, you can watch things in highlights or on social and stuff like that, but people still want to see where the action is. And the ability to take moments that happen to a game, like, the old Oreo dunk in the dark moment is kind of a very famous example. But now with the ability to personalize, you could literally be creating new messages like live while a game is happening and talking about, actual things that are happening in the moment. Do you think advertising will become more contextually relevant to the moment because of things like live sports or F1 or whatever, just being able to create an ad that's basically in the moment with using data?
Short answer is yes, and we've got some customers of ours who are doing that and have been doing that for years, and now using Supermetrics to report back on those outcomes to show, hey, just because we're doing real-time personalization, does that mean it's effective? Well, now we have the data to actually say yes, it is.
That's awesome.
So it's and in addition to that, we've got a number of sports teams and leagues that are using us as well, because at the end of the day, your fans are your customers, right? It's all about acquisition, engagement, and retention. So as long as you're getting customers or your fans in through that journey, you can hit them with the right message at the right time and make sure they're having a good time, and that your brand is front of mind and center for them as they're thinking about different kinds of decisions through that process as well.
Love it. Personalization is definitely a topic in the regards of like what is useful in personalization to give an advertiser a moment to connect with their fans that it feels very native to who they are and what they care about and the things that they enjoy. But then there's also a level that goes to intrusiveness or maybe an over leveraging of data that feels a little bit big brother, continues to be a pendulum to say what is acceptable and what isn't. How can brands be, I'll give you an example. My wife recently bought an AI generated book about my son in a dinosaur world because she saw a piece of creative with my son's face on it, inside of a dinosaur story. but it was effective. She bought it immediately, and to her that wasn't intrusive because the value of the product outweighed the creepy factor, I suppose. But where do you think the line is where advertisers should responsibly use data to enhance the advertising experience, make it more contextually relevant, make it less interruptive, but where do you draw the line, do you think, where it becomes too big brother?
Yeah, it's a good question. Two things come to mind. One is that's up to the nature of the brand and the relationship that it has with their customers. You know, for a brand that I'm comfortable sharing my address, my phone number with, maybe I have a package being shipped over, maybe I'm getting pizza delivered, something like that. A degree of personalization is probably healthy, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm going to the store and buying my favorite food, right, and maybe there's some loyalty card data there or something like that, I might be a little bit less receptive to personalization.
Sure.
Right? But the other thing that comes to mind is I think that's where we need to make sure that we have humans in the loop when we're
QAing, making sure that things don't get too crazy.
Yeah, for any AI decisioning system, like if you're building agents that are going out and building your campaigns and optimizing toward hyper-personalization, they might run off and start to do things that are, genuinely creepy and might erode the trust of your brand. So, always having that human in the loop to apply the real world context. That's one of the most important things we can do as we start to roll AI out to the different systems that are putting ads in front of, frankly, our customers and hopefully soon to be customers as well.
Yeah, pretty awesome. Well, if folks want to learn more or connect with you, keep up with Supermetrics, thought leadership, where do you want to point them?
Yeah, just come check us out at supermetrics.com. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me at Evan Kaeding or linkedin.com/Evan Kaeding. That's a good place to find anything that I might have to say as well. Those are probably the best spots.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Dylan.
Appreciate you.
it.